up, guys? Otterpop here. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different reaction to what I normally do. Normally I have a pretty good idea of the kinds of things that I watch, unless they are specifically requested. Because here's the thing. I get all kinds of requests from all different kinds of people, but there are just so many that are piling up, and I just don't post videos enough that I really can't get to any of them, which is why on Patreon I do have that option available for even second level or second tier patrons rather, which is literally only $4 a month. It's literally like a $2 tier, a $4 one, and an $8 one. There's a reason that I have the Patreon all set up, but the point is, if you are at the $4 or the $8 tier, you do have the ability to request a specific video or art project, which I will usually take care of either by the end of the month or within a month, depending on, when exactly it's requested. So, that is what I'm doing today. Somebody did actually specifically request something, and they suggested something, well, they suggested a series of videos called Puppet History, and there are all different kinds of videos about all different kinds of wacky events that have happened throughout history, and historical events do interest me to quite a degree, usually. But there were a lot of them, and a lot of them tended to be long, and I was like, well, maybe there's like, 2 or 3, I think that's what I said, but two or so specific videos that you'd like for me to watch, and then I'll kind of go from there and see what happens. And one of these specific videos that they were a little bit towards particular to me reacting to was the disastrous 1904 Olympic Marathon. Now, I was actually looking through a couple of these Puppet History videos, and some of them, a bunch of them I did recognize the events. A couple of them I'm like, ooh, I've done some research on some of these, and the rest of them I was just like, what? So, that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reacting to one of these per patron request, and again, all kinds of people can do all kinds of things at different tier levels. For example, at the first tier, the Otterpop tier, you get early access to all South Park episodes, like reactions and reviews. You also get early access to all new incoming Hunters pages, as well as a couple of other little things. And even once you get to the really high tiers, like, the $8 Sea Otter tier, which I've put together, you basically get early access to any and every single video I upload. So that's every single reaction, every single game, compilation, art videos, whatever it is. Unless I release it literally immediately as soon as I upload it, which doesn't really happen very often. You can also request an art commission once a month, even getting some occasional behind-the-scenes stuff as well. I'm still trying to work on a couple of those things, but I still wanted to be able to give that option as well. And there are a whole bunch of other little things as well. But yes, this is what you have the ability to do at the second tier, which basically allows you to request a specific project from me, whether it's a video reaction, a specific playthrough, a, specific art project that you think I should work on, which isn't really a commission, but it's still kind of there, because, I do like to work on a lot of art projects. So yeah. That being said, there are some limits to the requests. I do not react to long-running series. Providing even reactions and or reviews for that kind of stuff is very, very difficult and extremely time-consuming. I had to reduce South Park already to once a week instead of twice a week, and there's a reason that I did that, alright? There are some other limitations, but that's kind of one of the only big ones that's really coming to mind. So, enough of me talking, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to start this, I'm going to provide as much commentary as I can, because again, there are a couple of these events for videos from this particular channel that I'm like, ooh, I know a little bit about that, or I've heard of that. But this is one of the things that I have not actually heard of, so I'm a little bit curious. Because history content, I actually do kind of like a little bit. I couldn't tell you why, but I really do, especially if there's a creative twist to it. To the, not the historical facts, but the way that they're portrayed. And puppets aren't usually my thing, but I'm willing to give it a go. I'm willing to give it a go. Let's go. I need to learn to turn that down.
Welcome one and all to Puppet History Online University! Today we'll be taking an ever-winding look at yet another chapter in the heavy book we call history, while our guests ruthlessly
He's like an Olympics announcer, I get it.
Of History Master. I am obviously your beloved host, the Professor! Ryan Bergara, are you ready?
Why is there no hat on that fuzzy blue nutsack of a head of yours?
I'm letting my dome breathe, bro.
I think it looks beautiful.
Thank you, Kristen. Speaking of which, Kristen Chirico, our special guest, are you ready?
I'm so ready!
Then let's crack in!
I think this was released in like September 2020, if I saw correctly. Hold up. I think this was released in, what was it? Hold up, I need to check real quick. September of 2020, so this is very well during COVID times, so this is already an interesting setup. Wow, those initial jokes, I was not prepared for. I actually kind of appreciate that. Like, I couldn't tell you why. I appreciate humor that's kind of... what's the word I'm looking for? I guess the best way I can say it is like some of the overt, some of the crude and dark and, you know, maybe even borderline inappropriate, like not completely inappropriate, but kind of, you know, the borderline area. Kind of like with the Vanoss crew. If you don't exactly know the kind of humor level that I'm talking about when I talk about the Vanoss crew, then I can't think of a better way to explain it right now. But I do kind of enjoy humor like that. Oh, okay, here's a better one. Some of the South Park humor. I enjoy a lot of that for how blunt and overt and obvious it is. And that's kind of what's happened here, and I wasn't expecting it, and I am pleasantly surprised, and that is okay. Anyways, sorry, just had to talk about that for just a brief moment. This already does seem very interesting. I wasn't expecting there to be puppets and a sort of live like a live action audience, I guess you could say. So the format is something I was not expecting, but I'm very intrigued by. I will say that much. Also, it's hot as balls in here. I wish I could turn my fan on, but my mic will pick that up really badly, no matter where I put it. I'll have to suffer.
Then let's crack in! All right, so what? Before we get into this, you got some qualms with my fashion choices here?
Yeah, you look like you're in a Run DMC video.
You know, I'm lean, I'm limber, I'm limbered up, I'm ready to go.
Are you supposed to be dressed like an Olympic athlete?
Yes!
Or a Russian mafia member.
Wait, was I right?
You were correct. Kristen gets a history point!
Yes!
Russian mafia
Well,
member.
you know, on that topic, I'd love to know, what are your favorite Olympic sports?
Oh, what aren't my favorite Olympic sports?
Oh, boy.
Swimming, gymnastics.
Sure.
I love track and field.
Yeah.
Women's volleyball.
Absolutely.
Some of the winter ones are fun, like ice skating and like the one where you're like skiing, but you have a sniper rifle.
Yeah, it's biathlon. It's part skiing, part shooting. All awesome.
What?
Well, for my jelly beans, there's nothing
I don't know
quite
enough
like
about
the
the
Olympic
Olympics.
Games. Nations from every corner of the globe coming together every 2 years to put aside their differences and unite in a shared activity.
By the way, Japan is not very happy about having to host the Olympics right now. The 2021 was supposed to be 2020, but didn't actually happen because of you-know-what. Yeah, Japan, from what I've heard, Japan is not happy about having to host the Olympics, but these two individuals, the sort of live-action audience, I've already forgotten their names, but don't blame me for that. My memory is absolute crap. They seem to very much enjoy what they're doing. Like, either they're fantastic actors, or they legitimately enjoy doing this stuff. And I feel like it's the latter. Like, well, I mean, I feel like they probably got some good acting abilities as well, especially if, you know, if they've helped with various other videos for stuff like this and whatnot. But I genuinely think that they seem to enjoy what they're doing and, like, you know, putting this stuff together. My guess is that they're part of the team. Like, that probably helps with some of the staging, some of the editing and whatnot. Very cool. Very cool. I appreciate it.
Nations from every corner of the globe coming together every 2 years to put aside their differences and unite in a shared activity. Scolding Russia for pumping their athletes full of illegal
Every
drugs.
4 years,
And the
unless you're
sports.
going back and forth between summer and winter.
Yeah, I'm taking Russia to task. I don't care.
They're gonna come for you.
Yeah, whatever. Come at me, Putin.
So wait, what does the jacket have to do with this? Is this a tracksuit?
This is more than just a tracksuit. Hang on a sec.
Oh, is this a gymnastics suit? It's a gymnastics outfit.
It's a little onesie.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's great.
now it's less weird that you don't have pants on.
Well, the Olympics haven't always been a guaranteed rip-roaring great time. In fact, at the beginning of the 20th century, the world saw an Olympic Games that was such a catastrophe, it jeopardized the future of the event entirely. Today, we're talking about the disastrous 1904 St. Louis Summer Olympic Games.
St. Louis.
Oh, I know about this. Is this the one
Missouri?
where the guy...
St. Louis,
Whoa,
Missouri?
whoa. No spoilies, Kristen.
No
But already
spoilies.
impressed that you have a bit of a grasp on this one. So
Here comes
you
a
know
history
what?
point.
A history point for Kristen!
Yeah.
Oh,
Shocker.
Wow.
It's like clockwork.
I haven't even opened my marker yet.
Exactly.
Around the
What's
dawning
this
of the
about the
20th
marker?
century, the International Olympic Committee was in a bit of a pickle. They'd recently revived the Olympic Games for the modern era with the intention to repeat the Games every 4 years as a big international spectacle. But they were only having middling success. How middling? Well, in 1900, the Games were held in Paris. And not only were they overshadowed by the World's Fair simultaneously occurring in the city, but they were pretty hilariously slapdash. Hurdles were built from broken telephone poles. Swimming events were held in the Seine River, whose strong French current propelled competitors to achieve superhuman times.
Isn't
What
that
a
a
mess.
nut?
Well, if there's anything to fall in the shadow of, it's the World Fair, baby. So cool.
Have you ever been to one?
No, but most of what we have today is based. Disneyland is like
boy,
for the
here
most
we
part. I
go.
don't know if Disneyland would exist if it wasn't for the World's Fair.
We don't need to get this one talking about Disneyland. I can't go on any of the rides.
Oh, because you're too short.
I'm too small. So, after a Parisian flop, how do you rustle up renewed public interest in the Olympic Games? With a little American razzle-dazzle! That's how!
Oh, no.
Whoa, trivia! And this should be an easy one because I already said a thing about
trivia.
it. What city did the IOC award the 1904 Olympics to?
He did say St.
A,
Louis.
Chicago. B, St. Louis. Or C, Detroit.
St.
Is this a
Louis,
trick
Missouri.
question?
I'm not here to trick you. I'm here to go on a magical adventure with you all. Beef Boy, you got an answer for us?
Yeah, be St. Louis. There you go.
Kristen.
I'm also going to say B, St. Louis.
Oh, that's a great beat.
What in the? That looks like an ass crack.
Now it does. no.
Kind of no matter which way you do it, there, ass.
Points to neither of you, because it was a nasty little trick question. I'm a nasty little boy.
Wow.
Wait, 1904.
Wow.
Wait, was that
That's
Chicago?
Chicago, huh? Yes.
Oh,
Well,
I
let me
knew!
explain.
To be fair, though, I only knew because he pointed out that St. Louis was a trick, but like as soon as he said it was a trick, I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, Chicago's hosted the Olympics before, and I knew it was like early 1900s, but I didn't know for sure, so I'm like, well, it doesn't happen in America too often, so I'm just gonna go ahead and guess it was Chicago after all. Yes, I initially thought it was St. Louis, but I was like, but Chicago's hosted an Olympics before. Oh, you're tricky, dude. Is there really true? Oh my goodness. So there's trivia in this, there's cool history, there's creative and ingenuity in terms of the deliveries of so many of these like little factoids and the conversations between them, and the humor is so on point. I freaking love this. This is not what I expected this to be at all, and I love this. This is like the history that young adults like myself need and can be entertained by. I love. Oh my gosh, I'm not even 5 minutes into this, and my cheeks hurt so much from laughing and smiling. I really do like this. This is not what I was expecting, and I am happy to report I am pleasantly surprised. Very pleasantly surprised.
Chicago, huh? Yes. What? Well, let me explain. Organizers of the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair were nervous that a competing international event in the American Midwest, i.e. a Chicago Olympics, would hurt fair attendance. So obviously the powers that be in St. Louis started a scheming about how to swipe the games from the Windy City. What did St. Louis do? A. They halted all railroad traffic passing through St. Louis bound for Chicago.
I might believe that.
They threatened to hold a competing sporting event. Or
Maybe.
C. They sought help from a fickle genie who keeps making things worse no matter what you say.
I don't think it's C, but I appreciate, the whimsy.
The whimsy.
Devastating. How you guys doing? You locked in?
I'm gonna
ready,
say
I'm
A.
ready.
Beef Boy,
I'm
what
gonna
do you
say
I
A.
got A for Choo Choo Train.
And Kristen?
I also have A for Choo Choo Train, because the trains that went through St. Louis were critical to the economic infrastructure to the rest of the country.
Jelly beans
That's
for
true, they were.
neither of you.
Oh no!
Was it B?
St. Louis secured 6 million smackers in funding and went about persuading the Amateur Athletics Union to have their national track and field championships in St. Louis.
What?
that summer. The prestige we now associate with the Olympics just wasn't there in 1904. So a hip, edgy track and field championship sponsored by the AAU would draw America's top athletes away from the Olympics.
Is AAU, is that
What?
the same thing that is the basketball organization today?
I don't fucking know.
I guess I think we gotta do some research. Oh, look at him shake. Here comes the negative jelly bean. Give it
He
to
gets
me.
a rotten jelly, you mean?
Yeah.
A rotten jelly bean for the Beef Boy!
Why don't you give me one more, you coward?
Two
You
rotten
little
jelly
blue
beans, keep
coward.
pushing me! Keep
Yeah.
Chicago had its back against the wall and asked Baron Pierre de Coubertin, president of the IOC, founder of the modern Olympics, and proud papa of one wonderful mustache, holy cow, what they should do. Worried about the future of his games, de Coubertin buckled to St. Louis's threat, and the Gateway City began preparing to host both a
But I
World's
could have
Fair
sworn that Chicago
and the
hosted an Olympics
A
in like the
surefire
early
success,
1900s.
given how well it had gone over in Paris 4 years prior.
That sounds busy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too busy.
Like, LA is supposed to get some Olympics soon, and everyone I've talked to is like, how about no?
How about no?
No. Wait, was I wrong? I could have sworn that Chicago had hosted an Olympics in the early 1900s. Or maybe it was that random factoid where it was like, it was supposed to be in Chicago, but it wasn't St. Louis, but I thought that it was Chicago. I don't know. I could have... My memory is such crap, especially when it pertains to recent events, man. I suck with recent events. Oh my gosh, this humor is on point. This is my kind of humor. It really is. This is fantastic. There's strange but amazing chemistry between these three people alone. Do these three people appear in every single video, or does like switch back and forth, or maybe they have like, you know, these two appear in a couple videos, or maybe they mix and match. Like, I don't know. I'd have to watch way more videos to answer that. I mean, probably might not happen for a little bit. I'll at least try and get 2 as soon as I can. But still, what? What? Okay, I'm continuing. Gosh. So some of these little factoids and how he's delivering them is really tripping me up. Oh boy, that's not gonna do well. That's not gonna end well for me.
And everyone I've talked to is like, how about no?
How about no, Scott?
Yeah, Austin
Wow.
Powers.
Austin Powers, baby.
Wow,
to
you made an
start
Austin
was the
Powers
World's
joke?
Fair, opening in April of 1904, a few months before the Olympics were set to begin in July. With nearly 20 million people attending before it closed that December, the Louisiana Purchase Exposition sounds like it had all the things you'd expect from a World's Fair. The world's largest organ, the wood cabin Abe Lincoln grew up in, a whale skeleton, and plenty of new foods such as cotton candy
My
and
goodness.
waffle cones. Imagine like a
Waffle
Six
cones are so
Flags,
good.
but you know, with more whale bones and racism. Now, if that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, good news.
Accurate.
The Olympics were about to roll into St. Louis, but also bad news. These particular Olympics were absolute dog shit. Now, to give you some scope up top, in 2016, Brazil hosted the Olympic Games in Rio, which saw more than 11,000 athletes from 207 countries compete.
Yeah, the problem with hosting the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, I heard so much about this. They put that stadium together ridiculously fast in the span of months, and it did not have the infrastructure or especially the proper plumbing. There were so many athletes that were getting either like dehydrated or overheated or were not in great like sort of either like living quarters or readying quarters or something like that. The water quality of that area was absolutely terrible, and the infrastructure wasn't great either. They still managed to host the Olympics there, and it still ended up okay, but there were so many problems with hosting the Olympics in Rio in a massive building that they put together in a span of months that wasn't even prepared well ahead of time. Oh, it was such a freaking disaster. I really don't follow the Olympics, and even I know that. It was such a mess.
In 2016, Brazil hosted the Olympic Games in Rio, which saw more than 11,000 athletes from 207 countries compete. So, how many countries competed in the 1904 Olympics? And this is a
Good
free
question.
write.
Good
Okay, so I
question.
guess I can't say A again.
Just think of a number, and that's your answer.
95, maybe?
Ryan, what you got?
I put 12.
Oh!
I don't think
Kristen?
I said 11!
Oh, shit.
Shit.
I'm Price is right in you!
Oh, god damn it.
You know what, Ryan? You're getting 2 jelly beans for nailing it.
What?
Say what you will about the
12
show me state,
countries.
but in 1904 at least, seeing Missouri wasn't much incentive to figure out the logistics of getting your athletes across the ocean and then either up the Mississippi or across the nation by railroad.
Oh, I
Of the approximately
suppose.
650 athletes, fewer than 100 were from outside of the U.S. And of those, half were Canadian. Not even Baron Pierre de Coubertin could be bothered to make the trek.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. This was 1904. This was free airlines. Oh my god, no, there would have been no easy way to get all of those people there. Even if all of them crammed up on a ship from Europe or something like that would still be such a long way down to the Mississippi. Oh, no wonder there were only like 12 countries. Don't mind my idiot answer of like 95. I only like, cut it in half. I don't even remember when the first Olympics kind of like was sort of, I don't remember what year that even took place in. Like the first official Olympics, at least, in terms of the Olympics we know today. I mean, certainly things like that have been going on for centuries even, but in terms of like the sort of modern Olympics that we're very familiar with, I don't remember the exact year that started, actually. But oh, I didn't even think about that. They would have, the only way that people from overseas would have been able to travel was by boat. Oh, I didn't even think about that. And it would be so easy for Canadians, for the Canadian athletes. It really would be. Although, what about the athletes from like Mexico and Latin America? That might not actually be terribly difficult. But in terms of Europe and Asia, oh boy, that'd be ridiculously difficult. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Jeez, this is why my brain sometimes doesn't work with recent events, because it feels like there's so much that happens just in each decade that I just cannot remember all of it. I just freaking can't. I freaking can't, man. And even at this point, automobiles weren't, because this was 1904. Automobiles weren't as commonplace. What was it? Ford's T model, I think it was released in like 1908, 1907, something like that. So yeah, automobiles at this point were either like prototypes, but they were not commonplace by this point. I'm pretty sure I'm at least remembering those dates. Oh, I didn't even think about the travel aspect. I'm dumb.
Nice, dude. Presumably due to the low athlete count, participants could join some competitions at any time, even from off the street.
I'd hop in to do whatever they wanted me to do. Basketball,
Nope.
Javelin toss, pole vaulting would be really funny because there's a possibility the pole would snap and I'd break my neck.
That's a plus?
I mean, could you think of a more baller way to go out?
Yeah, living to your old.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Now, apart from low athlete
Overrated.
attendance, these Olympics also saw some unusual sports. Americans swept the podium for tug of war. A diving competition called Plunge for Distance was basically just the game you play as kids where you jump into a pool and see how far down you can go without using your arms. It was also the last time golf, the most unusual sport, would be in the Olympics until the 2016 Rio Games. These were also the only games to feature something called roke. Explain to me the rules of roke.
Oh no! This is a free. Is this?
You don't even have to write it. You can just try to explain it to me.
Okay, well, I will not go first.
Ryan, explain to me the rules of roke.
It's been a while since I've seen roke, so I got to
Put
think about
yourself
it.
in the mind of a roke player.
You know, roke is this game where you take a kind of substantial bouncy ball, almost like a medicine ball with a little bit more bounce, and you get one bounce, and it has to hit another contestant right in the nuts.
Oh.
Or you roke them in the nuts, as they would say on the street.
Roke them.
So, yeah, that's how you play roke.
Kristen?
I'm gonna guess that it's like kind of a biathlon type game where like you have to race somebody and at the end of the race you have to fight a person.
Oh.
So it's like sort of a racing fighting combination.
Unfortunately, neither of you have nailed it. It's sort of a weird mixture of croquet and billiards, like croquet with a shorter mallet and walls that you can bank shots off of.
It sounds like something you'd spend a lot of money on to be very bored.
Oh, for sure. You guys ever play croquet?
Yes.
No.
You've never played croquet?
I'm an Asian Hispanic man. I've never
I was
played
gonna say
croquet.
you've never had
Whoa,
a
that's
summer
a
where
combo.
your parents were like really sick of you and they were like, why don't we just throw $45 at the problem?
Okay, whoa, time out. Asian and Hispanic? That's stranger than my sister's boyfriend, who's half Indonesian, half Scottish-Irish. That's an interesting combination I've actually never heard of. I mean, sure, I've heard of plenty of people that are, half Asian, half something else, but wow, that's here's the thing, I can see it in his skin as well as his bone structure. Like the skin is very obviously not of Asian descent. It is very clearly like some kind of Hispanic or Latino, but the general bone structure, especially when it comes to the optical area, definitely has some Asian resemblance, but I never really put two and two together. That's so bizarre. That's such an interesting combination. Sorry, My my anatomical and anthropological fascinations are kind of kicking in for no apparent reason. But I mean, I've definitely heard of croquet. I know a little bit of how it works. I've never played it. I mean, I don't know if it's a kind of game. I feel like I've heard of rope, but that's literally it. I've heard that it was called that it was some kind of game or sport, but I literally did not know anything about it. And what did the Professor Puppet or whatever say it was, like a combination of croquet and something else?
You guys ever play croquet?
Yes.
No.
You've never played croquet?
I'm an Asian Hispanic man. I've never
I was
played
gonna say,
croquet.
you've never had a summer where your parents were like really sick of you and they were like, why don't we just throw $45
Crap,
at the
I didn't go
problem?
far back enough.
Now, unfortunately for the folks at the IOC,
I don't remember what
as
the other
was the
one
case
was.
in Paris, the Olympics were seen as more of a World's Fair sideshow than their own event. Newspaper coverage was spotty at best, and the fair itself had its own sporting competitions. So while the Olympics as a whole were a complete embarrassment, the running of the 1904 Olympic Marathon deserves special attention.
Yes, it
Kristen,
does.
is this heading in the direction that you'd prefer it to?
Yes, it is.
As long as this ends with a brown medal, I'm good.
A brown medal?
It's when a marathon runner poops their pants while they're running.
Yeah, that's true. Why don't we start with the marathon course, which might best be described as sadistic? There were a total of 7 hills, each between 100 to 300 feet high. Some of the roads were strewn with cracked stones, while others were covered in inches of dust. The course wasn't closed, meaning runners had to dodge traffic and even trains. Some cars with trainers and coaches drove alongside the runners, kicking dust up into clouds that runners would then breathe in. The race also happened to start at 3:03 p.m. on an August day in the humid and 90-degree St. Louis summer air.
Oh no!
On top of all these conditions, organizers tossed in one extra wrinkle.
Oh no.
What was the dumbest thing about the 1904 Olympic Marathon? A, it was 15 miles longer than any previous marathon.
Unlikely.
B, runners were allowed and even encouraged to
That's
trip
possible.
one another. Or C, runners weren't allowed to drink water.
Oh, I don't know this
B or
one.
C.
Oh, man.
That's okay. Sometimes you just gotta guess.
I'm gonna go C. We're not allowed to drink water.
Ryan,
gonna say
what's got?
C.
I'll go with C. No agua.
Kristen,
No, I'll go.
I'm gonna go with B, tripping. B, tripping.
There you go. We've got a little skit for you now. Whoa!
Oh, and then he died.
Good day to you, James Sullivan, my boss and organizer of the 1904 Olympic Games. Now, little assistant boy, you've caught me in a good mood. The plans are all set, and I've no doubt these will be the finest Olympic Games the world will ever see. Maybe, though I do have one last question about your plans for the marathon. Oh, is it the 7 brutal hills? Do you think we need more? No. Is it the cracked stones that runners will have to dance amongst like merry minstrels? Are the stones not large enough? No, sir, the stones are fine. Well, then what can it be? Out with the boy! Don't you think the runners need, like, water? Bah! To you, bah! We are testing the limits of the human body, the effects of purposeful dehydration. If those greedy runners want water, they can get some from the water tower at mile 6. Or at mile... Fuck... Sorry, I need some water myself. Hang on.
Jesus Christ, get it together.
I'm down back now.
Hoist it on your own petard.
That's the guy who was just about that.
Or the roadside well located somewhere around mile 12. That's it? What if somebody dies? Well, then they'll have died for sport and for science.
I cannot even begin to imagine a marathon with no water. By the way, I'm pretty sure I was totally right, so... it hasn't been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that I was right. So, I cannot even imagine a marathon 26 freaking miles without water. I've done a couple of 10Ks in my past. That's basically about 6.1 miles. But there were always a whole bunch of water stops along that, and that was just 6 miles. That wasn't even the usual 26 of a marathon. Oh wait, is it 26 kilometers or 26 miles of a marathon? Oh crap, I don't remember now. I think it's miles. Holy crap, that's a lot of kilometers. Wait a second. That actually could be like a 40K. If it's 26 miles. That actually kind of sounds about right. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. But yeah. That long? That far? That long? Without water? Why? Why would you do that? That's dumb. exceedingly dumb, and irresponsible as all hell. No.
I think my answer would have been better.
I have to disagree. I think the answer that was best was the one that actually happened.
You're just saying that because you got points for it.
Yeah, I'm right. Oh, here we go.
Oh, is it? Oh, you're back? Is he back? Where are you? I miss your little outfit. Where is?
Hi.
Oh, hey, hi.
Point to Ryan on that one.
Wow.
Well, there you go. James
No,
Sullivan's
Agua.
experiment had 32
That's
test
dumb.
subjects, the 32 competitors in the marathon, which included 10 Greek men who had never run a marathon before. Let's meet some of our intrepid athletes.
Greek men who'd never
There was
run a
John
marathon?
Logan,
That's
who had won
fucking
the previous
hilarious!
year's Boston Marathon, and so could have been considered a favorite for the Olympic marathon. Anyone placing a bet on Lorden, however, was quickly disappointed as he started blowing chunks and dropped out within the first half mile.
That's bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking, the thing I like
Drink too
about your
much?
little outfit the best is that it's actually a ladies' gymnast uniform.
I wear
was-
what feels good.
I was
and like
wondering
to
about that.
express myself via my clothing.
I was
I'm
wondering
here
about
for
that.
it, and I'm happy to be.
What is he doing right now?
I'm just feeling myself over here, you know?
He's dancing! Love him! Or die.
In the did not finish club was William Garcia of California, who at one point collapsed on the side of the road. Garcia was taken to the hospital and almost died with an esophagus coated in dust and hemorrhaging from a ripped stomach lining.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Rip your stomach lining.
Perhaps the only feather in this marathon's cap
It's not
was that
common,
it
but
featured
possible.
the first ever Olympians from the continent of Africa. Lean Tauyane and John Masiane
Oh.
of the Tswana tribe of South Africa were performers at the World's Fair, participating in a recreation of the Boer War. The men were well prepared both for the recreation and the marathon, as they had served in the actual Boer
Boer
War as
War.
dispatch runners.
I still know what
Tauyane
that is.
finished ninth. But what happened to Masiane?
Oh.
A, he was chased off course by a dog. B, he was struck by a milk truck. Or C, he tripped while crossing over a bridge and had to swim to the other side.
All right. Sure, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here.
He's
All right,
gonna say
Ryan, what do we
C.
got?
I'm gonna go with A, chased off the course by a dog.
Kristen?
I'm gonna also say A, chased by a dog.
I'll
'cause
say
I know
C.
somebody was chased off the course by a dog.
Points to you both. A dog chased him for a whole mile.
Holy shit!
Masiane still finished the race, but we'll check back in with him later to see how he did.
He was able to outrun a dog for a full mile?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's fucking
So whose
insane.
dog
Wow.
was it? Was it a stray dog?
Yeah, I mean, it's the early 1900s. I bet there's stray dogs everywhere. Another
I'm
racer,
sure.
5-foot-tall Cuban mailman, Felix Carvajal, had earned
That's a
his own way to the
mustache.
Olympics by showing off his running abilities around Cuba, even trotting the entire length of the island. When he arrived in New Orleans, however, he lost all of his money gambling, which meant he had to walk and hitchhike the more than 600 miles to St. Louis. Carvajal arrived at the race shortly before it began, wearing a white long-sleeved shirt, long dark pants, street shoes, and
Oh, dear.
a beret. Whoa! Those being his only clothes, that was what he raced in.
Yes.
Ain't that like the Big Easy?
Yes.
Carvajal was also famished. At one point, he stopped
I'm
the car
sure.
and asked for some peaches that the occupants were enjoying. When the riders refused, the rascally racer stole some anyways. What happened to
Understandable.
Felix next? A, he was arrested mid-race for thievery. B, he stole some more fruit. C, he fell in love.
Wait.
I'm gonna say he stole more fruit.
What?
Something to think about.
I don't
He
think
could have
he
been.
fell
He
in
could have
love,
been.
although
You
that
don't
is-
know.
He could
I
have
don't
been
know.
arrested.
Are we locked in?
Let's do
I
it.
guess so.
Ryan, what do you got?
I got A for arrested.
Okay,
I-
Kristen?
I got A for
Okay.
abolish the police.
Okay, yeah, sure. No
It's
history
possible.
points for that one, unfortunately. You know what they say about St. Louis produce. Yummy! Along the side of the road were some apple orchards, and
I was
still
thinking
hungry
about
after
that.
his peaches, Felix decided to grab some. Unfortunately, the apples gave him a grumbly little tum-tum. Attempting to alleviate the painful cramps that resulted, Felix laid down and took a nap.
Brown medal!
What?
Oh, I thought this was the brown medal.
Oh, no, no, no. As we learned from the tortoise and the hare, while taking a nap doesn't help one's chances of winning a race, it is not a disqualifying action. We'll check back in with Felix later. Among the American racers
Okay.
was Boston brass worker Thomas Hicks. Thomas was one racer who had a training team riding alongside him during the race. In fact, it was his training team from whom Felix Carvajal stole his peaches. While not pleased about losing their peaches, the training team had something else besides stone fruit for their man Hicks. What performance-enhancing drink did Hicks trainers give him? A, ocean water. B, New England clam chowder. Or C, egg whites and rat poison. Ryan, what do you got?
B. Chowder.
You're a chowderhead, huh?
I'm
gonna
willing
go
to
with-
lose for
I'm
that
gonna-
one, 'cause
I'm gonna
I
guess
love me some
C.
fucking
Oh, I love
clam
a chowder.
Why do you like liquid fish?
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna-
so
I'm gonna-
good. You put the little oyster crackers in it.
Ooh, I love a chowder.
First off, I'm gonna actually guess C, because I think that could potentially be legitimate. Egg whites are, yes, there is the rat poison in there, but egg whites are so freaking full of protein. I mean, my stomach cannot handle egg yolk very well, but I love egg whites, and they sit with my stomach just fine, and for some reason, at that time period, I could see that being a total possibility. Also, clam chowder is something that my mother used to enjoy a crap ton. I think it was it Manhattan clam chowder, or was it like New England clam? It was a specific kind of clam chowder, but my family and I lived on Long Island in New York for 2 years. My family and I enjoyed all different kinds of awesome foods, including a whole bunch of seafood, and my mom especially enjoyed the clam chowder that they had over there, because, it's freaking New York, it's Long Island, they're gonna have amazing clam chowder. They also have amazing delis and bagels and certain kinds of seafood, not to mention, famous New York pizza, which is enormous. I haven't had clam chowder in a long time. I could see myself enjoying it nowadays, because I do like a lot of different kinds of seafood-related meals. I mean, I have had clams before. Clams are pretty good. I haven't had them in a while, but yeah. Clam chowder, I don't know how much, protein or energy that could possibly have. I'm actually going to guess C on this particular one. I love this trivia! I love trivia questions! Especially when I, could potentially know the answers, or probably don't, and I'm just making shit up. Who knows? I could be dead wrong on this for all I know.
Oh, it's so good. You put the little oyster crackers in it.
Ooh, I love a chowder. I love a chowder. Kristen, what'd you put?
Can I go? Is it
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah.
Sorry, we were in a chowder trance there.
I put C.
You keep doing it
Those
upside
keep ending up
down.
upside down.
They
Point to
do.
Kristen.
Yay!
Boom!
Hicks trainers gave him a combination of egg whites and strychnine while he was running a marathon in 90-degree heat.
Is this back when doctors were just like, listen, we've invented tons of drugs and we don't know what to do with any of them?
It feels like a weird
Especially with
thing to
psychology.
just pull out and test in the moment. This feels like something you should have tested before the race, maybe.
It very much
Not
feels
in
like a
the early
situation
1900s.
of them just looking in their bag to see what they have.
We got a secret weapon. The only secret about it is we don't know what it does.
To be fair, though, rat
Miraculously,
poison is
it
a
did
blood
not
thinner.
kill him, but we will check in with him later. While all the racers were slogging through this absolute hell, a little more than a third of the way through the marathon, New York bricklayer Fred Lors adopted a strategy that gave him a leg up on his competition.
Ooh.
What did Lors do?
Let me see.
A. He started riding in a car. B.
I don't
he took
think
a
so.
shortcut that shaved almost 4 miles off the course.
That's possible.
Or C. He started drinking water. Duh. Are we
B or
locked in?
C.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you got?
I put A. He hitched it. He hitchhiked the way.
Love it. And Kristen?
B.
I got B for
I'll
the
go with-
shortcut.
Around mile 9, Lors started to cramp up. To try to relieve these cramps, Lors hopped into a car and rode for 11 miles. Point to Ryan.
Oh
Lors
my
wasn't particularly
goodness.
shy about his tactic either, waving at spectators and fellow runners from the automobile.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't blame him.
He
Runners?
was just waving at people as he blew past them in a
Oh
car.
my
love that.
goodness.
Eventually, Lors hopped out of the
I mean,
car and
I don't
ran the
blame him.
final 5 miles, crossing the finish line first. To understandably tremendous applause. After all, an American had won! Hooray! Most of the crowd had no way of knowing that he had done so by running only about 14 miles of
Yep.
the race. Alice
Yep.
Roosevelt,
Yep.
daughter of President Theodore Roosevelt, placed a wreath upon Lors's cheating head and was about to drape the gold medal around his cheating neck when finally someone who knew of Lors's treachery shouted, "Imposter!" In response, it sounds like
Sus.
Lors kind of just shrugged and said he was only goofing, that he was never going to actually accept the gold medal. Sure. Understandably, the crowd's cheers turned into hearty and deserved boos.
He's like objecting to a wedding.
Oh, with Lors disqualified, who won the 1904 Olympic
Oh,
Marathon?
which one of the three?
A. Was it John, the Boer War veteran who was chased by dogs? B. Felix, the fruit-napping napper? Or C. Hicks, the rat-poisoned brass worker? What do you got, Ryan?
I'm gonna guess
B. Felix.
I'm gonna
Kristen.
guess A.
I'm gonna say A, the guy who was chased by dogs.
Interesting. Well, I guess we're about to find out. Whoa!
Well, here he comes, leaping into the stadium like some sort of mechanical piece of machinery, scarcely able to lift his legs and with barely any signs of life in his eyes. It's Thomas Hicks, aided by yet another dose of egg whites and strychnine being carried by that shady
No
training team
way.
of his feet.
I was
Slowly
wondering
shuffling
if
back
it
and
might
forth.
be
He's
him.
done it, he's won, and he's collapsed. He's lost 8 pounds during the race and has rat poison coursing through his veins. But we'll see if we can get an interview with him.
Thomas, what say you?
The terrific hills simply tear a man to pieces.
Points to
I
nobody,
agree.
by the way. And that is an actual quote from him.
I love it. It's
I
poetic.
thought so.
As for the others, John got back on
Oh my
horse and
goodness.
finished 12th, while Felix, the napping fruit napper, went on to finish 4th, believe it or not. Wow.
Wow.
In total, only 14 of the
freaking
32
Hicks?
runners would even cross the finish line.
Jeez.
James Sullivan's barbaric marathon was a total failure and
How many
a
ended up
perfect symbol
dying?
of the St. Louis Olympics as a whole.
What was gained by this?
Not much.
Just kind of seems like
No,
a bunch
not
of
much,
guys
I would imagine.
just made a lot of bad memories.
Look, hills are very tough. I ran up a hill going up La Cienega the other day, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have rat poison in me.
Instead of sitting with the taste of the St. Louis Games in their mouths for 4 years, an extra Olympics was held in Athens in 1906
Oh.
in an attempt to repair the damage done to the Olympics' reputation. 20 nations participated, and the intermediary games helped salvage the idea of an international athletics competition, paving the way for the much improved 1908 London
Yep.
Olympics. But boy, oh boy, will we never forget that sexy St. Louis summer. Full of peaches, poison, and internal hemorrhage.
Frickin'
Well, that
poison,
concludes our history lesson. I'm going to go tally the scores to see who receives the coveted cup and the title of
Oh,
History
boy.
Master. While I do that, please
History
enjoy this special
Master.
performance from the Olympic Torch. Wow, a celebrity. Whoop.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's good.
Yes!
I like that.
I have awoken from my 4-year slumber.
Look at his little face. It's adorable.
Time has finally come to play the games of old. There's medals to be won, and you attain the goal. Each country sends the best to put the medal to the test. How far would you go to prove your nation beats the rest? Would you run and run and run till blood fills up your lungs? Would you steal some fruit to eat and lumber through the choking heat? Would you climb those dusty hills, chugging eggs and poison pills? Let a dog tear you apart? Would you get hit by a car?
Sounds like a Pepsi commercial.
You must sacrifice all for a glory.
Oh, he's not
I
done.
must douse my hellish flame with your subservient sweat and return to the dreamless slumber that offers me the only respite from the wretched waking life
I'm
of
with
an
her.
anthropomorphic torch. A pox upon the being that cursed me with sentience. And would you break all of your bones for a parade when you get home? Would you scoop out both your eyes to win that fucking prize? This is being that second place.
You're not first, you're last.
Break your body, sell your soul. You better get that fucking gold.
This is a horrifying song.
I love it. I love it.
Every one of his songs this season has had his characters have an existential crisis in the middle of the song.
I feel like that's every single song ever, and that's what makes them good.
Oh, wow, what a harrowing performance from that Torch. He seems like he should talk to somebody.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
was
seems
a little
like
worried
it.
about
Oh
him,
my
but he was a
goodness.
bop.
Now, you guys are going to believe this. I am shocked to report that Kristen Sirico is our history master, and so she has rightfully earned the coveted cup.
Yeah,
Right,
that makes
thanks for
sense.
trying.
That
Kristen,
makes sense.
go claim your reward.
Wait, what?
Are you proud of yourself?
I am.
I would be.
What's this really about? Huh? You know exactly what I'm talking about, you little blue piece of...
Little piece of what? Huh?
Why'd you say it? Sounds like I need to say it.
Sounds like you're afraid.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm afraid.
Hey, Kristen.
She's back. Hey, Kristen, how's it going? Congrats.
Just having being fun, being pals
Yeah,
over
that's
here.
good.
Oh my goodness.
Got the jelly bean.
Oh,
Got
that's
it
cute.
all.
It looks
Well,
like
you
a lot
have
of care
very
was
much
put into it.
deservedly
I get
won
a
that.
professor pin.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
much
good.
better than money.
Thank you for watching Puppet History. We'll see you next week.
He's a dead man.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I was laughing and smiling so much I started tearing up. That was far more entertaining than I initially thought it ever could. Like, I figured it would be interesting, it would be entertaining, it'd be a little bit educational. This is probably one of the most creative, like, history, educational related channels I think I've ever seen. And I have seen kind of a whole bunch, but this took it to a whole new level, combining all different kinds of concepts and putting them all into one single video and playing them in different ways. I think the whole puppet aspect does really help, because then that's one aspect less that you need to, like, you know, edit in your videos. All you need to do is kind of record it, and as long as you got, like, you know, the script and whatnot, then you're golden. And then the video feeds from the two real sort of audience members, or I guess in this case contestants, both, you know, because of the sort of game that was playing and the whole, you know, Olympic theme, or whatever you might want to call it. It seemed like either a lot of the effects that were put in were relatively simple video edits, or they were sort of, you know, little puppet, you know, things that you can just kind of do automatically that you don't necessarily need to edit. Like, and it was all put together and all organized in this very interesting, creative way. And of course the trivia questions too. That's probably like a repeat animation that you really only need to change the text for. That is an awesome thing. Oh my, this is absolutely playing on my love for trivia. Like, people might be surprised to know this. I love trivia, except when it has to do with, like, you know, entertainment and sports. I suck in those categories, but the rest I stand a fair chance, especially when it relates to science and even occasionally history as well. Or you know, like sort of language arts and grammar and English and stuff like that. I'm pretty good at that stuff as well, but I love trivia. I love that that's an aspect of this. I don't know if it's an aspect of this particular episode or the series as a whole necessarily, but that is so freaking entertaining. I loved this. I would be happy to watch another video or two of this. This was so freaking good. This is my kind of like education and history content. By putting a creative spin on educating people and combining so many elements in a way that works, adding the trivia in, and all these hilarious adult-like jokes that, you know, don't really cross the line, but definitely get you laughing if that's your kind of humor, which it is! So many elements at play that just mash up together into this incredible little video. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay. That's all that I'm going to watch for today. I actually am a little excited to watch the next one. And spoiler, I might be excited to watch the rest of these. These are definitely very interesting. I could get behind reacting to this, so we shall see. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to definitely make it a thing, but at least I'll be watching this as well as another specific one. I don't remember what specific one that is. I'll have to look at that for the next time I actually do that particular reaction. But thank you so much to the patron who requested this. This video is for you. I hope you enjoyed my reaction and my commentary. I hope the rest of you enjoyed this as well. Don't forget, there are all kinds of rewards that are on my Patreon, and it's actually not much a month. And this really does help me kind of work on creating more content and even getting a little bit of money so that I can get some new equipment, because I have been thinking about doing that relatively soon. I've been having problems. I'll be honest. But anyways, I'm just going to stop right there. I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I sure as hell did. And as usual, until the next video, guys, check you laters.